This channel introduces books from Japan. Today, I'd like to talk about a book called Kodoku. In English, it can be translated as loneliness. In a world where we are constantly connected online, this book asks us to rethink the meaning and value of being alone. Let's begin. When you hear the word loneliness, what kind of image comes to mind? In the United Kingdom, more than 10% of the population is said to struggle with loneliness. Because of this, the government even appointed a minister for loneliness. In Japan, kodokushi, or lonely deaths, have become a serious social issue. Because of situations like these, many people see loneliness as something negative. However, this book encourages us to reconsider the value of solitude, the value of spending time alone. Of course, it would be cruel to tell elderly people who lost their families and live alone unwillingly that loneliness is a good thing. That's not the point. Instead, this book focuses mainly on young people who are afraid of being alone. With the rise of smartphones and social media, young people today are constantly connected to someone. In this kind of society, the value of solitude is often ignored. This book tries to bring that value back into focus. First, we need to question a common belief, the idea that being alone is uncool. Many people today unconsciously believe that being alone is somehow embarrassing. For example, some people feel uncomfortable if they don't have someone to eat lunch with. They always go to the cafeteria with others. Deep down, they may be thinking, it's pathetic to eat alone. If people think I have no friends, that would be embarrassing. In Japan, there was once a trend called toilet lunch. Some students would eat lunch inside a restroom stall because they didn't want others to see them eating alone. Whether this was widespread or not is unclear. But the fact that such a story became popular shows how strong the belief is that being alone is shameful. In some cases, university students avoided classrooms or cafeterias because they had no one to sit with. Some universities even hired counselors to eat lunch with students who felt isolated. The author argues that social media has strengthened this belief. Today, some students connect through social media even before entering school. On the first day, they already meet up and go together. The same thing happens in companies. Some new employees connect before officially starting work and attend company ceremonies together. From an early stage, we are influenced by the idea that acting alone is not acceptable. But is that really true? There is nothing wrong with spending time with people you genuinely enjoy. The real problem is forcing shallow relationships just to avoid being alone. We need to rediscover the strength of being alone. People who are comfortable alone can use their time meaningfully. When we spend time alone, our thinking becomes deeper, and that depth shapes who we are. The author says, smartphones and social media have not only strengthened the idea that being alone is uncool, but have also created something else. He calls it connection addiction. This is the feeling that you must always be connected to someone. Do you know people like this? People who compete over the number of friends they have. People who constantly check their phones even when sitting with others. People who cannot stop looking at their phones during class. Maybe that person is you. When reality feels empty, some people try to fill that space by constantly connecting online. They exchange messages all day, organize frequent gatherings, and stay busy with social events just to avoid being alone. But people who are not addicted to connection are different. When they are with friends, they focus fully on that moment. When they are alone, they can think deeply or enjoy their hobbies. In other words, constant connection takes away our time alone. If we lose time alone, what happens? First, we lose time to think. We also lose reading time. These activities require solitude. In Japan, many people commute by train. Today, almost everyone on the train is looking at a smartphone. Before smartphones, people would simply think, reflect, or even daydream. The train used to be a place where thoughts could grow quietly. Now, those empty spaces are filled with screens. Reading time has also decreased. Not only on trains, but even at home, people read less than before. Without realizing it, we are cutting away the time needed for deep thinking. When we stop thinking deeply, our thinking ability declines. Instead of thinking carefully, we immediately search for answers. For example, imagine asking a young employee, "Why do you think this product is selling well?" Instead of thinking, they might immediately take out their phone and search online. They read comments about the product, but only a small number of people leave online comments. Those comments do not represent everyone's opinion. If you show them sales data and ask for analysis, they might simply repeat the numbers without forming their own conclusion. If you ask what can be learned from the trend, they search for an expert's opinion and repeat it. If they cannot find one, they say, "I don't know." What truly matters is not repeating others' opinions. It is thinking for yourself. The internet is useful for gathering information, but it cannot think for you. If we are always connected and never alone, we lose the chance to develop our own thoughts. A decline in thinking eventually leads to a decline in creativity. Creativity does not appear suddenly. It grows slowly through repeated moments of reflection. When you spend time alone, you can face your inner self. What do I really want? Why am I always in a hurry? What feels missing in my life? These questions do not appear when we are constantly distracted. Interestingly, a feeling of dissatisfaction often becomes the source of creativity. The psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud once said, "Happy people do not fantasize. Only those who are unsatisfied create fantasies." If we are completely satisfied, we feel little need to create something new. By facing our frustration or discomfort, we gain the energy to create. It is no coincidence that many creative people experienced hardship. Their unfulfilled feelings pushed them to create. Time alone is not just for relaxing. It is essential for building a meaningful life. However, modern life makes solitude difficult. We are used to rushing. There is a concept called Type A behavior pattern, proposed by cardiologists Meyer Friedman and Ray Rosenman. Type A people try to achieve as much as possible in the shortest time. They set strict deadlines for themselves. Even if they finish early, they move on to the next task immediately. They often feel pressed for time. Studies suggest that long-term stress from this lifestyle can affect both mental and physical health. In contrast, Type B behavior is more relaxed and patient. To cultivate creativity, we need to move closer to Type B. One important step is learning to enjoy what seems like wasted time. For example, if you get lost on your way somewhere and you have time, instead of rushing back, explore. Walk with curiosity. Visit a small shop. Sit in a park and observe. Try a restaurant that catches your attention. Allowing small detours can expand your perspective. These moments often lead to unexpected ideas. In modern society, loneliness is often seen as something negative, but being alone is not the same as being unwanted. When we are constantly connected online, our relationships can become shallow. Without time alone, our thinking becomes shallow too. That is why we need solitude. By choosing to spend time alone, we give ourselves space to think, to grow, and to create. And through that process, we can build a more meaningful and creative life. In the next video, I will introduce another book titled The Place You Can Reach Only Through Reading. Do you ever feel that books are unnecessary because you can get information from the internet? In the age of constant online content, are we truly thinking deeply? Next time, we will explore the power of reading and how to read more effectively in the digital age. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.